gotta be strong in this time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive, I will survive. And I'm a firm believer. We'll forever strive just to stay alive. That simple means that nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can tell me sick. I will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness, show me a lion. Strength, no weakness, show them who we are. Strength, no weakness, show me a lion. Everybody strength, no weakness, show them who we are. Not when you're old. Your enemies, they must tremble. Your enemies, they must tremble. Yo, not when you're old. Everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. I'm a go-getter. I just go hard, I just go hard. And I'm a kind of fella. Put my trust in God, put my trust in God. That simple means say, nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change my energy. Nobody can turn me sick. I will not allow negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can change.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
And when you're old, everything has to humble. Everything has to humble. Right now, you have to stand on this battlefield.
What's up? Ridealong. Welcome to the ride. Welcome to Tuesday on the ride. Yeah, man. Welcome to Tuesday on the ride, guys. I'm happy today. I am happy today. Could anyone guess why I'm happy today? And listen, anyone guess why I'm happy today? Getting 1 free point on Friday's game. Tell me, why am I happy today? Why am I so ecstatic today? Huh? I am happy today, guys. I am happy today. How are you doing? Welcome to Ride Along Live. We do have an exciting program lined up for you. Rachel, how are you doing? Big up yourself. Thank you so much. Hey, Ian Baker, how are you doing? Thank you so much. Chantel, how are you doing, Chantel? Chantel, could anybody guess why I'm happy today? Could anybody guess? Any guess? Any guess? Any guess? Good evening to you, Serafina Kwashi.
You gotta be strong in this time.
Because you're alive and well. Oh.
I will survive.
Ding, 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 ding. Meline, you love the song? You love the song? Yeah. True survivors. Yeah, all of that stuff makes me happy. Every day is an amazing day for me. Yeah? Every day is an amazing day for me. Any day that you get up and you could breathe, you have your family around you, you could enjoy all this glory and blessings, man. You gotta be happy. Yeah, why stress? Why stress and hot up your head and man, yo, leave that for later. But listen, one of the top reasons why I'm happy today is because I got an opportunity to speak to a very, very, very nice survivor today. And what made me more happy is that she decided to come on the program and chat with me. Hey, I'm ecstatic. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a young lady by the name of Angelique. Hope I'm getting that name right. It's French, okay? Angelique. She gonna assist me in getting it right. But Angelique is on the program today, guys. Let me give you guys a quick glimpse of my guest. You see that? You see how beautiful? Look at Angelique. Get on. Yes, Angelique is on the program today, guys. Naomi Jr., it's my birthday today. Huh? Oh, happy birthday. Tomorrow? Tomorrow, okay. Naomi, happy birthday to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Christine. Yes, guys, listen. Before we start the program, I want you guys to take this opportunity and do one thing for me, right? You see there's a share button right somewhere at the bottom there, somewhere around here, down here. I want you guys to hit that share button and put this program on a page, put this program in a group, put this program on a friend page. Even if someone you ain't talked to in a long while, I want you to tag men, I want you to tag women, I want you to tag every person you know right now. Even if you have to tag them 5 times, tag them right now. It's important we have this conversation. You know, just a few weeks ago, we had a very, very sad situation where a young lady was killed. A young lady was killed, stabbed over 30 something times by her estranged boyfriend. We spoke about that at length. And we told you guys that this is not a reactive conversation. We have to be proactive in this conversation when we're talking about domestic violence. There are questions that we need to discuss, dive deeper into, especially the question of domestic violence and why do people stay in domestic situations. Now, Angelique is going to be helping us to understand this a lot more. You know why? Because she been through it, she lived through it, and she completely understands. A lot of people say, but why? You in a domestic relationship, he's slapping you, he beating you up, he kicking you up. Why don't you just leave the damn man? It's not that easy. Angelique would explain to us the whole scenario, the whole situation. And of course, we're going to take your calls live as well. So in the next 30 seconds, guys, before we bring in Angelique, I want you guys to share the program right now. Share the program right now before we start. Share the program right now. I'm going to do it as well over on my page. Let me share it a couple times. Let me share it a couple times as well. Hey, Jane Chateau, big up yourself. Thank you so much for joining in. Let me share it over on my page as well. There's a group that absolutely they would actually not follow me again if I didn't share it on their page, and I have to do that right now. Okay, there we go. All right. Yes. One more page.
Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can hold me sick. All
right, guys, it's about that time. Help me introduce my guests for today. And I know we're going to spend some time getting the name right? Because I oftentimes mess up people's name. Ladies and gentlemen, Angelique. Hold on. I'm hold on. For some reason, I'm not hearing you. One second. I'm not hearing you for some reason. Test your audio again. No, I'm not hearing you. Try your audio again. Sorry. Yeah, guys. I know. I don't think it's on my end. No, it's not on my end. Angelique, you hear me? Yeah. All right. You try again.
I can hear you.
There you go. That's the sweet spot.
Hey, everybody.
There you go.
Should we start with the name?
Yes. My God, start with the name. Yes, please.
Listen. It's okay. It is French. It's Angelique. Yes.
Angelique.
Thank you, Lydia. It's so good to be here. I am excited. The music already got me going.
You heard the music, what he said, right? He said, I am a survivor.
Yes.
That's the bottom line of it, right? I am a survivor. You are a survivor. Yes. And you are using everything that you know to empower other people, to empower the world. And that's why I'm so ecstatic. I'm ecstatic because of you. I'm happy because you're here.
Thank you so much. I am glad to be here. So I don't know where you want to start.
I want to
based on what you said, we got a lot to talk about.
I'm telling you a whole lot. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we start.
All right. First of all, I always say I'm a Philly girl. So I am from the Northeast, born and raised in Philly, but I'm in the Carolinas. I got here in 2008, and it's kind of crazy because I really love it down here in the South. So the girl from the Northeast likes being in the South, But I have a little girl. She is 8 years old, and she is sassy fire like mommy. But yeah, I mean, this is some of the work I do. I do work in domestic violence. My full-time job, my 9 to 5 is something totally different. But I do a lot of work in the arena of domestic violence awareness because I just can't let it go unspoken. I cannot. What I went through, what some of you who are watching probably went through, what people who will watch the recording went through, it has to stop. And so I spend a lot of time reading, studying, talking to other people, sharing my story, because this thing is a beast. And it happens way more than I think anybody thinks it happens. And for reasons that we'll talk about today, I don't think people understand.
That is so true.
Yep.
I'll ask you a question at the top, right? And then we're going to get
Yep.
into the story.
Yep.
I have a situation with a young lady who I'm counseling on a daily basis.
Okay.
She is in a abusive type relationship. In fact, it is so bad that her boyfriend, a young guy, by the way, he's not no kind of, I don't understand the authority that she allowed him to have over her, but we'll talk about this.
Yep,
So
we'll get there.
he controls everything that she do. If she make a glimpse and ever open up a Facebook and watch a program like Ridealong, and he find out about it, he would beat her, he would slap her, he would do all this stuff to her, right? She have no freedom, she have no contact with her family. In fact, she's like in a prison inside of her own home. She have no money. He gives her everything that she needs. He give her when he thinks she needs it. If she asks for it, he beats her up, and everything bad, right? So
Everything bad.
I asked her the other day, I said, so, tell me a little bit about your story. And she told me that. So I said, okay, so what do you want to do? She said, you know what? I don't want to leave. I'm going to stay. Forget about it. Forget about I told you anything about that. I just want to leave. I just want to stay exactly how the relationship is right now. So the question for you is, before we get into your story, why is that? Why is she making the conscious decision to stay in a relationship, although the relationship is toxic?
Totally get the question. And that's like the question of the decade. People don't understand. And I got to say something. I know I don't know her story. I don't know exactly what her situation is, but I will tell you there are 3 things typically driving it. There's a cycle that we call the cycle of abuse. And that's everything from, it starts off great, and then there's tension building, to there's some kind of incident, and then there's like this honeymoon phase when the person comes back and they do all their apologies and the makeup sex and all that stuff that happens. But there are 3 things typically driving the cycle. The first thing being love, because I can guarantee you when she met him, that's not what was happening. People don't meet people, get punched in the face from day one. It doesn't happen that way. It is a slow process over time. So she fell in love with who she thought he was and has been unable to admit to herself that he is none of that. He's none of that. So love is the first thing. The second thing that's driving the cycle is hope, because of the fact that he would have apologized. And she's thinking maybe this time he won't do it again. Maybe. So her hope that he will change has changed. And she trusts that is the second thing. The third thing that's driving, you said he does this to her, he beats her, is fear. Because I can promise you, without knowing her, at some point he said to her, can I curse on this show? I don't even know if I can curse on this show. Is this PG or G?
It's PG kind of.
Okay. He probably said, chick, you gonna die. I will kill you. I will kill whoever. I will this or that. So love, hope, and fear. And to me, it sounds like he's done enough to convince her that he would do things to her. She probably has been strangled at this point. Who knows? But I'm telling y'all, everybody thinks it's a matter of just walking away. I imagine he has stripped her of everything she ever thought she was and everything she had. You told me she's isolated from her family. Where's she gonna go?
Yeah.
Where's she gonna go now? I bet you she's broke, no money. He succeeded in probably getting her to stop working, whatever. So she feels incapable of taking care of herself. All of it may sound to some people like excuses, but you ask the question and that's the answer. 3 things: love, hope, and fear. That's what's driving it.
That is so true because one of the things that she told me, that I established that her self-esteem is diminished. She said she has one small breast and one larger breast, and he keep telling her about that she would never find somebody who's going to like a woman like her with a big breast and a small breast.
Mm, mm, mm.
And so I know that our self-esteem is done, is diminished.
Let me tell you something real quick, and this for the people that are listening. This is something I learned. Listen, y'all, I'm no dummy, right? Like I think I'm kind of cute, a little sexy, a little bit, right? A little bit. But I will tell you this: I'm not going to just say guys, because women are abusers as well. I know the statistic is 85% of the times it's a woman doing the abusing, and the other 15% is a woman doing the abusing to a man. But I will tell you this: there are so many of us that spend so much time talking that we talk too much. Let me explain. The things that we don't like about ourselves, women who are more manly, or in her case, the smaller breast, or whatever was. In my case, my dark skin, right? I remember that was an issue for me, right? When I was growing up. Now I'm like chocolate, sexy chocolate, right? Say what you want, I know. But there are things that we say and we talk too much. And these guys, these manipulators, these females who are manipulators, they are listening, y'all. Are y'all listening to me? They are listening to what you don't like about yourself. And they're storing it in the back of their minds until the time is right, when they have gotten you so wrapped up in them, and they begin to use those things against you. And then you start to question yourself, and but what did I say earlier? You love them. So in your mind, but he didn't mean it that way. I know he didn't, or I know she didn't. And so you allow these things to keep happening when you know that they are tearing you down, but you don't know how to pull yourself out of a person that you love, who you hope will change, and who you fear might hurt you. It is a disgusting cycle. Disgusting.
So you said, right, and I want to go into your story right now. You are a beautiful woman. You are. I mean, everybody says it. I mean, come on, you know it. You probably heard it 100 times.
Thank you so much.
Someone so beautiful like yourself, right? With all the self-confidence that I'm sure that you have, get entwined in. Not entwine is probably not the word.
I know what you mean.
Be in a abusive relationship and not just say, "Yo, I'm out of this. I don't have to deal with this." What's your story?
Okay. So here I was, the girl from Philly, right? Like, y'all, I'm telling y'all, I grew up in the hood, like many of us did. And I believe my way out was through education, right? So I go to school, I go back to school, I study, I get my job, I get my career, I move with my company, I'm doing what it takes to grow. And I get to this place where I have the degrees, I have the home as a single woman that really could have held a family. I got all these things going on for myself, and I'm still trying to climb. But then what happened? I felt like, well, what's missing? I mean, I'm in church, I'm praise dancing, I African dance. I'm like, I kind of got it. Now what? And my now what was, well, I guess I need to get married. Like, it's time, right? Like I'm getting to that point where I want to have kids. And I felt like it was my next step, which makes sense, I guess. I mean, it makes sense. And I will tell you that I honestly believe I was too ready. I felt too ready to get married. So when the person came along that, the old ladies at church, the women at church that talk to you, the mothers, and it's like, girl, and I heard these exact words: God will bring your man, your husband, as far as the East is from the West. And get ready for this. I was in the East, and sure enough, he came from California. Are y'all listening? So in my mind, answer prayer, right? Answer prayers. Look at this. This is amazing. And he didn't come swinging and punching and calling me out my name. I told you, he came bearing gifts. He was charming. He could sing, he would all that stuff. And it was like, I don't need what you have, but I like that you know how to give me what I like. And so it was sweet. It was a lot of time spent. It was the attention, all the things that he understood I cared about. And, oh, this part drives me crazy to even say it. And the spiritual side. I was dancing in church. I was walking the abstinent walk. Oh, he was in church, So I'm like, okay, this is good. This is really, really good. So I thought I was getting, first of all, I thought I was getting what God sent me. Let's start there. I was incorrect, but also I thought what I saw was a person who was living for God, trusted God. I made a lot of mistakes. When I talk about miscalculations, let me get a new calculator because the one I was using ain't work. so bottom line is he presented himself to be probably what I said too much out of my mouth. I'm telling y'all, these guys listen. So what I said, I think he mimicked. He also understood I wasn't going to accept, but so like you had to be a certain kind of guy for me to even let you in my space. So he was those things. So how'd I get caught up in it? Because he was able to be a chameleon. He was able to be what I was looking for. And I thought that's what I got. Now, don't get me wrong. There was stuff, listen, y'all, if we gonna go really real, get really honest, there was stuff that I saw that I can say at times I chose to overlook. That I didn't put enough weight on what was wrong. I put more weight on what I liked. I put more weight on what made me feel good. I put more weight on what I felt like I needed at the moment. And it still bothers me now. We talk about those yellow flags that people ignore. And I definitely had yellow flags. Absolutely saw them.
But when someone, I'm gonna go back. When someone think about, that's fine. When someone think about abuse, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, right? When someone think about that power that a man or woman in position use
Yeah.
over someone else to empower them, they think of that person being either financially unstable or dependent on that person because that person, they see them as an authoritative figure, right? But you well put together, I'm sure you're making your money, you're doing your thing. How does someone of an economical class, like that economical class, get into a situation where they become dependent on someone who's not even in the economical class?
Oh my gosh. Because let me tell you, oh God, I love you. Let me tell you, because what I was looking for, like I had what I needed, right? I had what I needed. He was working, of course. He didn't come like some bum dude. I shared this with you. He was living in a condo off the lake, right? He was driving a Lexus. He was buying whatever he wanted to buy for me. There was nothing too good for me, right? At least that's what it looked like on the surface. Now I know what was really going on, what he really didn't have. I figured that out along the way. But the thing is, when you kind of have it, when you're okay and you kind of got together, you don't necessarily need someone to, or you're not, let me say it this way, you're not necessarily looking for someone to give you what you have. What you're looking for is someone who can at least, keep it steady, take you out, whatever. But what they're giving you is the piece that you don't have. So I didn't need him or him to be balling. I needed him to be taking care of himself, being able to sustain what we had going on. But the other parts, the emotional parts, to be honest, the sexual parts, the man woman thing, you can't get that from just being yourself. You need a partner for that. And that's what he was giving me. And so that person comes in, woos you, gains your love. Listen to me, y'all. They gain your love and your trust. And when they've got you trusting in who they are, even though that's who they pretend to be, when the switch flips and stuff doesn't make sense, you keep holding on to the perception you had from the beginning. Does that make sense? You still hold on to the perception you had from the beginning because you can't really rationalize this other person. So something must just be wrong. We're just having a rough time in the relationship. I must have really upset him because this isn't who he really is. I know who he is. And so that's a lot of what happens is that it doesn't make sense. And that power and control thing that's happening, that cycle that's starting, you don't even know what's happening because the love and the trust that you have has almost blinded you from what's actually going on. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does. Guys, we're chatting here with
Angelique.
I'm gonna mess it up.
I bet you the people listening, the 120 people listening, they can say it right by now.
Yeah, they could. I have a bad tongue. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you right
It's
now.
Angelique. It's okay.
Angelique, all right. So let me ask you about that first time, right?
Yeah.
The first time in retrospect, because now you could sit back and say, well, you know what? I could see what the yellow flag, the red flags, and
Yep.
when it happened. In retrospect, when did that transitional point occur? Like,
Woo.
when did he change that chameleon and turn into something else?
Yeah. See, this is what makes it hard because I get that question a lot. Like, when did it start? Like, when did he first, whatever? If you want to ask me when he first put his hands on me, I can define that. But when I think about the process, and I really mean it, y'all, it's a process. That's why I tell people abusers hate time. Time. They hate time because if you slow them down, the facade is going to fall. So the faster they can move you, ladies, gentlemen listening, the faster they can move you along into the process to get you falling in love and what they do call love bombing. If you never heard that phrase, that's extreme shows of affection and love and interest and all of that. They got to love bomb you to get you caught up quickly so that you don't really see what's happening in the process. But then little things, arguments. I give the example all the time. I felt like there was a point where he would go from 1 to 10 in no time over the stupidest things. So you want to ask me where it started? It started at places like that because he was testing me and I didn't know I was being tested. So the argument would be, I always give the example, you broke my pencil. What? Okay, I'm sorry. I broke it. It's not really a pencil, but I'm giving the example of how stupid the thing could be that the argument is about. You broke my pencil. Okay, it's a pencil. No, you don't understand. That's my pencil. And I'm thinking, okay, my bad. I'll get you another one. I didn't know this pencil was so special, but it's stuff like that. Because if you don't react and say, hold up, let me tell you something, you better back up. If you don't give them that same thing back from the beginning, that same energy, don't play with me energy, or you're too apologetic or too empathetic, they realize, she passed that test. Now I'm going to give her another one that's harder. I'm going to call her out her name. I'm going to compare her to one of my exes. I'm going to do something else to see if she walks away, if he walks away. And when you don't stop those small tests, they know that they can keep going and the tests get stronger and deeper and worse. Then you start seeing the physical abuse. Physical is not first. People, physical is not first. It's all these little tests that they're trying to see if you'll walk away. And when you don't, they know they can get you. I didn't walk away the first time. I didn't walk away the second time because I didn't have a definition, a proper definition of abuse in my mind. What I had was, what's love got to do with it? Black eyes, bloody noses. Oh my God, he beat her. But I want everyone to understand abuse starts way before the physical. It starts way before anything you can see. It starts psychological, financial, emotional, mental, even sexual. It starts in other places. So when did it start? I can tell you the physical one after that, but it started there.
Actually, an awkward question. I don't know.
Yes.
It is an awkward question because someone said it to me, and I want to show it to you so you could respond. Do women make abusers? Like, here's where I'm going with it, right? A man would be with a woman. He would never put his hands on that woman, or a woman would be the man, because it goes both ways. We had
Sure.
on the show before where we have a man was abused by his girlfriend. So it goes both ways. A man will be with a woman, or a woman will be with a man, and he never hit that woman, or he never hit that man. Then they get into another relationship, and he started you. So do women make or accept certain things that turn men into abusers?
Let me give you my opinion on that. My opinion is no. Because if you say that the victim makes the abuser abuse, then you are placing the fault with the victim and not the person who did the act. And I will never accept that.
True.
Never. Okay. So when people say the abusers need anger management, let me tell y'all something. Okay. They ain't angry about, and I said ain't on purpose. They ain't angry about nothing, double negatives. They ain't angry because to be angry would mean that the victim did something to cause the abuser to be angry. Abuse is power and control. It's power and control. The person who is doing the abuse wants to gain and maintain power and control. It is not about the other person because they will abuse me, her, him, them, the cousin, the niecey, the auntie, doesn't matter. It's about them, not about the victims. I hate saying it, but it's not personal. I hate saying it. I hate thinking I went through something that wasn't about me. but I was the next. I hate thinking I was just the next, but I was. Well, you have to think about the fact that a lot of times when people say hurt people, hurt people, hurt people hurt other people. In my case, yes, there was some abuse in his background. He abused women before me. I just was unaware. I was unaware of that. So a lot of times what you see come out on the other side has a lot to do with what they saw growing up, has a lot to do with what they saw as a teenager, whatever the circumstances are. But I will never, ever say that the victim caused the abuser to abuse, because that's a lie.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a
Let's,
lie.
let's talk about the first time for you. The first time he physically lifted his hand and
Eee.
in that way.
Let me pat my upper lip on that one.
Yeah.
Ah. So here's the deal. So I am a new mom. I just want to be clear, y'all. I was never married before this. I never had children before this. So this was everything was new to me. Like, I was so excited to be a wife and a mom. And then I got this. Damn. So anyway, my baby was a little bit under 2. Maybe she's 1.5 or something. And I remember I was washing her in the tub in the master bathroom. And he and I were arguing. He was actually in the master bedroom, which is, we can see each other. So we're arguing across the rooms, which is just easy, but we were. And I'm trying to bathe her while I'm arguing. And it was about money, about my money that he wanted, because we had planned for him to go somewhere, but now we can't afford it. Like, and I told you, I grew up in the hood. I spent so much time getting out the hood, and to be broke again because of this fool, for lack of a better word, pisses me off. But anyway, I'm saying we can't afford this. And I basically said, I was on my knees washing her, and I got up and I just said, I tell you what, I won't give you the money at all, and you just won't go. And when I tell you that was the switch, that was the switch. So he came charging from the master bedroom into the bathroom toward me, and I felt like my life was flashing before me. Like, I didn't know what was about to happen, but I knew something was about to happen. And so he came toward me, and I kind of braced myself. And again, my baby's right there next to me in the tub. And I braced myself, and I thought he was going to punch me right to my face. He did not. He actually used open hands. And I guess he had his hands tight like that. Boom, right in my chest. So he hit me right in my chest, which sent me, now this is a pretty large size bathroom. It sent me across I stumbled back trying to catch something. I finally fell into the double sink behind me. Now, I told y'all in the beginning, I'm from Philly, right? You heard me say that. So in my first mind was, I will kick you. That's my first mind. But then I was like, oh, you like 6'1", 260 pounds. That's a lot. It's a lot. And honestly, I'm joking, but honestly, I remember in that moment, I heard my daughter cry. And she was crying, screaming because of all the commotion. And so it was because of her that I stopped. And so I didn't know what else to do but start talking trash. We all know how to do that. Whatever, you want to hit me now? You think and I'm doing all that kind of stuff. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, like all of this, now what do I do? Because people say what? They hit you one time, they're going to hit you again. That's the first thing I thought. They hit you one time, they're going to hit you again. What do I do? He left. I called the domestic violence hotline, and I was just looking for somebody to tell me something. Like, this is what happened. And the first thing she said was, do you think he's going to do it again? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And she suggested that I call the police. And you know what I said? I can't. That's my husband. That's my daughter's father. Like, I'm going to call the police on him. The answer was yes. That was the answer. But I could not bring myself to call the police, because what I tell you in the beginning, 3 things: love, hope, and fear. That love that I felt for who I fell in love with, and the hope that it wouldn't happen again. It wasn't fear yet. It wasn't total fear. It was the love and the hope that made me not hang up with the counselor and call 911, which is what I should have done. And I didn't. That was the first time.
So do you see a lot of that where you have that protection? The victim protects the abuser. You slap
Yes.
me, you kick me, but I ain't gonna press charge because I love you and you love me. It just happened the first time, then he does it again. Oh, it just happened the second time. He does it again. Talk to us about that protection, and at
Yes.
what point do you say, like, yo, That's the last time you're gonna kick me in the ass, man.
I love that. Yo, yo, that's the last time you're doing this. Oh man, you know, it's complicated. Can I just tell y'all, I like statistics. I like numbers. I'm analytical. And the statistics tell us, first of all, listen to me, y'all. The statistics say that 1 in 4, depending on where you look, is 1 in 3. 1 in 4 women experience domestic violence in her lifetime. Now, I want you to think of, or tomorrow when you go to work, or Sunday when you sit in church, or wherever you worship, I want you to count off every 4th person. Take that in just for a second. Every 4th woman has experienced it in her lifetime. The second thing I want to tell you is that on average, it takes up to 7 times. And that's an average. And if y'all know math like me, that means there's people above 7 and people below 7. On average, it takes 7 times for a victim to actually fully, completely leave their abuser. So this is what I'm telling you. The protection thing is not uncommon, because you've got these things driving your understanding, and you've gotten so far. I hate to say, you've gotten so far into what you think is love. You've gotten so far into this. I never been, like, when I tell you, I was never married before. Like, this was my husband. I was in the church. You learn in church that you pray. Sometimes you learn that you pray and you stay. You learn that you fast. You learn that you go to counseling. You learn all these things about what you're supposed to do when your marriage isn't going well. But if I could tell y'all something, abuse is not a couples counseling issue. It is not a communication problem. It is a him or her problem, whoever's doing it. It's their problem. There is nothing in marriage counseling and nothing in communication counseling that's going to fix someone's desire to have total power and control over you. They got a problem that's far beyond you. So I'm getting back to your question. The protection mode the source of it is so much. You never know if that woman herself, like, I was not abused, but there are people who were abused, who grew up in that scenario and almost think that it's commonplace. Like, they've made the abnormal normal because that's what they knew. Or you're in love, or you can't imagine yourself divorcing because from what you grew up and learned, divorcing is wrong. It's spiritually incorrect. Whatever the thing is, there's so many layers, and I don't want to just narrow it to 1 or 2, but there are so many layers that keep women and men who are abused where they are. I know y'all probably heard of Stockholm Syndrome, and this is just general abuse, where the person somehow begins to take on the attitudes and the feelings, and they almost want to protect the emotions of the abuser. It makes no sense. If you put on your logical eye, if you put on your logical mind and try to understand everything through logic, you'll never get there, because it's not logical. It's not. It's based on emotions and fear that, unless you're in it, unless you've experienced it or know someone who did, it doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah. Guys, I saw someone ask a question earlier, and I apologize for my whole screen just got very, very dark. I usually have light to
It's
prepare
okay.
for this, but here, guess what happened? In New York here, I don't know if we have like a hurricane that just came upon us, but the whole place just went very, very
I
dark.
see the trees sort of blowing in the background kind of hard. I see that.
And my whole setting just got really dark. And as I said, I never prepared for it. My light is somewhere not where I'm at right now. So you guys are going to have to deal with me a little bit darker today. But someone asked this question earlier. I want to get to it. Let me see if I could pull it up. He asked if it has something to do with mental health, medical. I hope I could get that question. I hope I could get
Okay.
that.
I don't know if I can scroll with you, but I can try.
That's the question. He says, how much does mental health plays in the life of an abuser?
Very, very interesting. I would say significantly, because to me, and again, I said this before, a lot of times abusers, now don't get me wrong, every abuser wasn't abused as a child. Okay. So we're not going to put that caveat on every single abuser, but I do know that there are circumstances where abusers have been through their own level of trauma. I'll say that word, trauma, whatever it may be, and they have not found a place for it. It has not been explored. They have not healed from it. And so a lot of times we expect people to do specific things or what we would do in reaction to our trauma. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Some people become evil and they throw darts out their mouths. Some people do all kinds of things, other things that don't make sense. Some people turn to drugs. Some people turn to gambling. Some people turn to pornography. Whatever it may be, there are different ways that people react to their own trauma. Now, so that's one set of abusers. Others have realized that they can monopolize or gain from doing this, from power and control, and they made a decision to be this way, to manipulate, to abuse. And I think it's disgusting because from my perspective, if you're a man or if you're a real woman, go get your own. Go get your own. Do your own work. Make your own money and stop trying to monopolize and manipulate other people. I can't stand it. I'm a pull yourself up from the bootstraps kind of person. Make your way, drive your life, take control, own your life. You own you kind of person. So when I think of people who do abuse for those reasons or commit abusive acts for those reasons, it just disgusts me. But in general, it does. So yes, it's a mental health issue in some instances. Others, I think that people do, I guess they're opportunistic and they take advantage of others because they see a weakness, they see a crack in the dam, and they open it further. Just my opinion.
Yeah, you get a major endorsement from Dr. Augustine Pancho, who is a clinical psychologist. He's been on the program a number of times, and he's saying that you're absolutely right about the abuser. Counseling cannot fix an abuser. He or she needs to deal with the shit independently.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to assume you're a doctor. Doctor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's talk about religion, right? Because you interface religion into your abusive relationship. How much does religion play into that? Does religion give you like a push to want to stay and work things out? How does it play in?
Yeah, you know what? And that was truly my situation. So in my story, I met my guy I mentioned to y'all. He was in church. I was in church. And so I felt like I met someone who was, perfectly fit into, or at least fit into what I was looking for. And that was kind of one of those things where you got kind of a list that was on my list. But unfortunately, he understood that women who are spiritually grounded or looking to walk a spiritual walk, they also have a pray mentality, and God can and listen to you. Let me just say this. I'm a Christian all day, baby. Okay, I believe God. What he did was ungodly. Nothing to do with God. But he played church and he pimped God because he knew that's what he had to do in order to stay with me, or at least get me interested enough, because I wasn't going to go for anything else. But yes, there are, like I did the whole counseling thing with him through church. It was worthless. Listen to me, y'all. Abusers abuse. They are manipulators. So it doesn't matter if it's within the four walls of your house or apartment, or it's in the office of a therapist. They're going to manipulate that situation as well. And that is exactly what I saw. We could have been in the car on the way to church, and I was a B and this and that, and I was everything else, and F you and everything else in the car, cussing and hollering and everything. And we get in that church and walk up to the first 2 or 3 rows, and it was baby this and sweetheart that, and arm around me and smile and shucking and jiving and everything in front of everybody else in church, because he understood how he could use and manipulate. Because in church, unfortunately, you are also taught to always smile through it, right? To keep on through it. That has its pluses and its minuses, because then you learn, unfortunately, not on purpose, I think, but you learn to wear a face. You learn to cover it. You learn to keep praying and fasting through it, when sometimes what you need to do is say, this is a problem. And y'all listen, it's deacons doing this stuff. It's pastors doing this stuff, not just the people in the church in the pew. There are all kind of religious leaders in power. And then even if it's not them, they are often not prepared to even, or don't even want to address that thorn in their side when there's stuff like that happening in their church. And because they won't directly address it, it is a perpetual cycle that will not end in the church until people stand against it and say no more. Didn't I tell you my show? My show is called Silent No More. Silent No More, because it's in the church as well. And we learn to adjust and adapt and to keep smiling and keep praising and keep shouting, which you should do because God is real. But when you don't deal with the earthly issues, such as domestic violence in the church, among church members, we got a problem. That's a real problem that has to be addressed.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about domestic abuse, and it's very important. And I promise that we want to make this a conversation. There are so many men and women that are going through this every single day. Right? It has become like a lifestyle. People are being abused. They figure like they cannot do better. I presently are in talks with a few individuals that we're helping, that we're talking to. They just want someone to speak to, and they are going through it. They are getting thumped and kicked and all those things, and they just don't. They're not ready to get out yet. But it's not me or anyone to dictate as to when they should get out. The resources that we provide to them is when they are ready to get out and how to prepare themselves to get out, and
Yes.
they don't get out at a time where it might be detrimental to them, because that's another big topic, another big discussion. Getting out, that's a whole project all by itself.
Yes.
Yes, and you could talk about that as well.
Well, I'm gonna say a few things too. Yeah, getting out, right? People are like, I actually had somebody in his family make a comment like, well, why doesn't she just leave? Okay, wait a minute. Let's rewind the tapes. That was my house. Why don't he just leave? And why don't y'all just do something about it? But okay, so I want to say a few things, y'all. It isn't just I needed a man. It isn't the bottom of the barrel, the chick with 3, 4, 5 baby daddies. I want y'all to get that out of your minds, because this thing happens to all types of women. And I'm going to say this not because I want to boast, but I want to be real clear. I'm a corporate woman, been in corporate America for over 18 years doing my thing. I got 2 master's degrees, not 1, I got 2. I ain't dumb. It's not about education. It's not about that. Just like, do I have a degree? It's not that part of education. There are ways that we get caught up, and then ways that make it difficult. These abusers are smart. They make it very difficult for you to get out. And if you didn't know, getting you married to them and pregnant by them is a huge part of abuse. Listen. They make sure you move in quickly. Y'all live together quickly. They make sure, because then they can watch your every move and they can understand you in a different way and figure out where all your weaknesses are. They're studying you. They make sure you're pregnant quick. And sometimes these dudes get you pregnant more than once to ensure that you are weighed down by the stress and the responsibility of having children. And they leave you responsible. Your money, they take it. Literally, I'm telling y'all something. My debit cards, my car keys, my cell phones, all that stuff, I used to sleep with them in my purse, my debit cards in my bra. I used to go to sleep at night with my purse on my shoulder because he would take those things from me if I did not. Think about going to sleep in your clothes with your purse on your shoulder to make sure that your money wasn't missing, your debit cards weren't stolen, and you could actually get to work the next day. That is the kind of life. They ensure that you are in debt. They ensure, oh my gosh, they ensure that they have created such havoc around you and such drama and such a dark environment that the friends and family that you did have no longer even want to be bothered because they don't want to be mixed up in that stuff. Listen, y'all want domestic violence victims to just leave? These men, and I experienced that too, bitch, I will kill you. You gonna die. I've experienced that as well. So the just leave isn't just leaving, because you've got to consider what's going to happen to my child. Will he come after me? Will he find me? I don't have money like I used to have. What do I do now? Like they make sure you are almost, I like to say bent, not broken. So I consider myself to be bent, not broken, but they want to break you so that there is no option to go somewhere else. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. What about your family in all of this? And where is the victim's family in all of this? Because family, normally would be there to give you a boost, boost your self-esteem. Where's the family?
Oh, and they were right here, except I was in the Carolinas and my family's in Pennsylvania. So he picked the right victim. I know you're getting feedback, you might hear it,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
he picked the right victim because it wasn't easy for my family to come and save me or to come and step in whenever. So I don't mean to just talk about women because I've been trying to, somebody just put a comment. I keep talking about men. I keep trying to throw in men as well because this happens to men, and I'm actually going to have one on my show next 2 weeks from now. A man who went through it. But my family, my mom, she was my rock. My mom is like that real queenly, graceful type of person. So you won't see her coming, but she is a beast. And so she was in my ear constantly. She would come visit. He would be like, you know, try to create situations where no one would come and visit me. And my mom would be like, I wish he would. I'll be there next weekend, like I said. And I wish he would. And she would come in and she would do her, hello, how are you? Right? But it was like, how do you get me out of this thing? Like I was borrowing money from my mom. So when the lights was about to get cut off and all that stuff was going on, she was helping me stay afloat and helping me at the same time figure out how to get out of it. She was sending me quotes. She was sending me scripture. Listen, your family's there, but I will say this from the bottom of my heart. You got yourself in it. You have to get yourself out. You have to do it. No matter who's around you, my family, my friends, yes, my sorority sisters, I'm a Delta. My sorors trying to help me. You know, my friends trying to help me. But I had some friends who it was overwhelming to them and they backed up. Somebody put a quote about leaving is one of the most dangerous times. You better believe it. If a survivor does not have an appropriate plan in place, she will find you again. And it is truly one of the most dangerous moments. It's like within that 2 weeks of when you first leave, it's considered to be some of the most dangerous time. So your family's there. I'm going backwards, Junior. Sorry. Your family's there. Your friends are there. But there are some people who say, I can't deal with this. This is too much. You're not even the same person that you were. I don't know what this all is. I don't want to come to your house. I don't want to call because I might actually get you in more trouble for calling, or it's just too much when I do call. So some people back off. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah.
I lost my best friend in that process. I lost my best friend.
And we've seen it out so many times. We've seen it on right here on the program. When, just as I said at the beginning, I was telling you, just a few weeks ago, we had a story with Dr. Pancho.
Yeah.
We was analyzing a situation of a boyfriend who killed his girlfriend. He stabbed her about 30 something times, right? And he stood over her. He looked as if he was, you know, he just stood over her in a menacing way with a knife in his hand. All of that caught on camera and in front of her 16-year-old daughter, make it even worse. So it's devastating. But we don't want it to get to that point. We want it to talk to people. We want to encourage people. We want to give people resources, because that's all we could do: give resources and advice.
Yes.
To look for the signs, those warning signs, very important warning signs. But another thing I want to touch on, because someone there talk about it, I think Johnny speaking about it, men get abused as well.
Yes.
Right? Men get abused as well. Probably not in the same ratio as how when women get abused, but men do get abused as well. What advice do you have? I don't know if you want to speak specifically to men being abused, and if it's any similarities or difference. What you observe from when men get abused versus from when women get abused?
And I will tell you, I don't know as many men. I know two specific. So that's enough, I think, to be able to talk about the topic, at least today. And what I've observed is the pattern is still very similar. The whole goal does not change. It's power and control. Just let's be clear. It is power and control in every situation. And what I realized too, I said this earlier, is that 85% of the time, 85% of the time, the man is the abuser. 15% of the time, the female is abusing a man. So that you're right. The ratio is not the same, but the goal is still the same. One thing I do notice is that it gets really hard for men at times who feel like this is challenging almost their masculinity, because I'm a man. Like, I'm not supposed to be in this position, because technically he could snap her neck probably, right? So it's hard to admit it at times, and it's that whole thing of, I was taught not to hit women. A lot of men were taught not to hit women, and so they try to restrain themselves from doing that because they were taught to never. Just like we were taught to pray and stay kind of thing, they were taught to never, and it's been ingrained for so long. And so trying to then swap that and say, I'm going to turn this and force this person to stop. A woman they love is still in the process. Hope is still in the process. I don't know exactly how fear plays into it when it comes down to the male side. So I can't wait to talk to my male survivor in 2 weeks. But I do know that she was aggressive, and the same circumstances, the physical assault, all that kind of stuff, like to the point of almost killing him. So I feel like the situation is very similar, very similar. The one difference is, I would say that for a man, there may be, and I'm speaking out of me being an observer, there may be more of it's hard for me to admit it, more so because I am a man, and are people going to believe me? And when the cops show up and she pretends to be the one who's being abused, am I going to go to jail for calling the cops because I'm the guy and I'm bigger than her? I'm bigger than her. Are they going to believe that she's abusing me? There's a lot of questions when the cops arrive and there's a man who's the victim. It is a very, very interesting thing to see.
Speaks from some experience, right? Life experiences where men that know and would never hit a woman, and
Yep.
you would playing that back in your head, I would never hit a woman, I wouldn't hit a woman. But what happens sometimes, and guys, this is personal experience here. You would have women that would push up on you, that would slap you, that would taunt you, that would push their finger all up in your nose, in your nostril. And then you would try to move away from that, and you would get the antagonizing following and just antagonizing, hit me. Because if a man ever put, and in her head is like, if you ever hit me, you know what's gonna happen. So a man a lot of times have to have more
Restraint.
more strength. Like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this. She's taunting me, she's punching me, she's pushing her hands up in my eye, but I have to be strong. I'm going to leave. And when you leave, you call a punk, you're embarrassed in front of the kids. So it takes an extra strong man to walk away from a situation like that.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different in terms of the power and control. I think men who don't do it, and it happened to me, I had to walk away and leave and go someplace, and then they will still get the follow. I even got a couple times in my face, but that's for another ride along sometime later.
No, but I hear you.
And men experience it. So I just wanted to say that for men who go through this, and we don't want to call it, because if you do call the police is going to be like, what?
Really?
What are you calling us for? You're the man. Handle damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very different response. And it's kind of sad though, because I mean, in my situation, the cops were called so many times. But get this, my ex learned the value of not blacking your eye or, blooding your nose, because he realized that when the cops would come, the story would be my word against his, right? Who did what? They couldn't really tell. So he would do things that would not create bruises or any kind of bleeding. And the police, I want to like the police so bad. I really want to, but it's really difficult in these situations because, and I told you, Junior, one of my situations at the very, very end was my ex tried to throw Drano on me. Y'all know what Drano is? Y'all know what Drano is. It's a chemical. It's meant to break down things and burn through things. And he tried to throw it on me. I got out the way. Thank God I got out the way. Called the police. It was, stains on the bed where I was laying, on the clothes next to me, right? Called the police. In the process of the police coming, he had the wherewithal to go into the closet, grab one of his own shirts, put a little bit of Drano on his shirt so that when they came, he could say it was an accident. Look, it got on my shirt too. See, it was an accident. And I'm like, okay, police officers, can you just for a second put on your thinking cap, just for 2 minutes, put your thinking cap on. How could it get on his shirt that was over here, The clothes is in the basket right here, and the bed I'm laying in, and it was just an accident. All three places, it was just an accident. So it's very frustrating because you try to call the police to get your help, to get their help. I'm sorry. You try to call the police to get their help, and they come in, and because according to what they said to me, Miss Pierce, did it get on you? No, it didn't. So the Drano didn't get on you? No, but he tried to. I got out the way. That's how it didn't get on me. Well, technically, the sheets and the things it got on, he's your husband, so he owns 50% of that. So, you know, he hasn't done anything criminal yet, were their words. He hasn't done anything criminal yet. So we just gonna wait until he does something criminal? I mean, put it together, people. It's Drano. How did it get over on the bed? It's for a kitchen or a bathroom. So it gets very frustrating when, as a victim, you do call for the help and you say, look what he's doing. And they leave and say, we can't take him out of here. Sorry. He ain't break your nose yet. He didn't choke you out yet. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and when you see the justice system, it almost wait until something happen
Yeah, it's bad.
or it there's any reaction, and that is like what we saw. You know, there have been instances where you have report he's gonna kill me, he's gonna kill me, and what we always say, I think Dr. Pancho said it the last time here too. You need to have a restraining order, and getting a restraining order so that that person don't come in contact with you. Absent of the restraining order, the person could come in the house because they reside there. Isn't it something like that? That's how it works.
Absolutely. And so just so y'all know, I did get a restraining order. So that weekend when he did the Drano, he attacked me in the shower. He actually locked me. He changed all the locks on the doors to my home and refused to give me a key. So I had to ask to get into my own home. Well, because of all that, I was able to go to the court on Monday, that next Monday, and get a restraining order, and the sheriffs did remove him from my house. When I tell you, I could just clap because I couldn't get him out, and I was finally able to get him out. And I had the clarity of mind to snap a picture of him with the Drano bottle in his hand. I caught it. Him coming out the closet when he had stained his own shirt. I caught it, and I was able to use that as evidence. So anyway, you get the protection order. I got a 10-day restraining order against him. They immediately got him out of my home. And then 10 days later, we had to go to a hearing where he had the chance to say, she's lying, I ain't do nothing to her. He had the chance to, but guess what? He did not. He signed a consent agreement that said he abused me. So the court had a record of him saying, yep, I did that. I don't want her to testify to everything I did, so I'm gonna sign this consent agreement. But in my mind, he getting out of my house. I can start my divorce. That's all I cared about. Go. But here's the truth of the matter. I have a child with him. And the protection order was for me. I was unsuccessful with getting the protection order against him for my daughter, even though he did these things in front of her. The court doesn't see it that way. They see it as, well, did he abuse her? No, he didn't. Well, then he still has the right to see her. So what does that mean? I still have to interact with him. We still have to exchange her. And people like him was using those moments to do stupid stuff, throw things on the ground at me, do whatever, be late, not let me talk to her when she was with him. All kinds of stuff was happening. So the protection order, and I don't want to just call it a piece of paper, but I see somebody wrote that. To some abusers, it is a piece of paper. Listen, if these abusers are crazy and they want to come and kill you, they are going to, but those are the ones that they don't care about nothing. But there are some who actually are the true cowards that don't even want to go to jail. So they don't want to do too much to find themselves in jail. So they don't upset the restraining order. They keep to it. So praise God for the fact that I now have a restraining order for him, against him, until my child is 18 years old. I don't have to keep arguing that same argument about why I need one, because it's in place now until she's 18. Thank God. Thank God.
Wow. Listen, we are not in time. That's just one point in time where we have to wrap. It's such a good conversation.
Okay.
People are texting me saying they're learning so much and they really appreciate you coming and talk to us about this. I want us to summarize it a little bit, right? For people who are going through this right now, let's speak specifically first to the women
Okay.
that are being abused. Then I want to touch a little bit on the men that are abusing. We have some choice words for them
Oof.
as well. But let's talk
Oof.
women that are in a situation as we speak. They are snug into a bathroom watching Ride Along, and they have it very low because they don't want the abuser to hear.
That's exactly
And
right.
they are scared for their lives. What advice you have for them?
Oh my gosh, so much. Let me say this to you first. This is to all my victims who are current victims and even survivors. Let me just tell you that it was never, I said the word never, all caps, bold, underline it, whatever you have to do. It was never your fault. I don't care what he said. I don't care what lies he's told or what people have said around you. You didn't come into the situation saying, hey, do this to me, please. This is what I want. You came into the situation looking for a relationship. They showed you what you wanted to see, unfortunately, and you accepted it and you believed it. But at the end of the day, someone else's behavior, someone else's abuse is never your fault. But what you do have to do, what is on you, is for you to find the courage to get out and the strength to stay out. That is for you to do. Now, when you talk about getting out, it can be very complicated. It is always complicated. And I don't want anybody to take that lightly. You don't just leave. You need a plan that involves a safety or includes a safety plan. You got to think it through, not on your own. You need someone else to do this with you, but you have to get out and you have to stay out. But one other thing I'm going to say to you is, and when you do get away from this one, I promise you, right down the street, at the next job, in the grocery store, there'll be another one just like him. My sister's friend says something to me I will never forget, and I say it every chance I get. Because I used to be like, and he did this to me, and then he took this from me, and then he. And my nickname is Shorty. I'm not short at all, but that's my nickname. She says, Shorty, you spend too much time focusing on him and what he did and what he said. She said, forget him. Take the focus off of him. Put a paper bag over his face. Listen, put a paper bag over his face and focus on the personality. Because if you don't catch the personality and you get lost in what that one person did, you will run into another one just like him. And because his name wasn't the same as his name, you'll not realize that it's the same personality. And you will find yourself right back in the cycle of abuse and struggling to get back out again. I hope that was good, because I'm telling you, those are some of the things that I just wish somebody would have said to me. Abuse doesn't start with the punching. It starts way before that, with psychological, mental, emotional, financial, sexual, and a lot of times the physical is the last thing to show up. So that's to all my women.
We have a question here from Marisha Mitchell. She's saying, how long has it been since you got away from your abuser, and how was it done?
All right. I separated from my abuser in December 2017. My divorce was final in December 2019. And I will tell you that when I went that weekend and I got my protection order, this haircut came during that same weekend. So that was a symbol of me saying, no more. You will not control how I look. You will not control where I go, who I talk to, how I work, and how much money is in my bank account or what I do with my body. So this was a part of it, December 2017.
Okay. And one last thing I want you to do for me, because there are a lot of people who are watching and their self-esteem is depleted. It's done. They don't like themselves. They need counseling. They need advice. They need support. They need strength. What could you tell them to boost that self-esteem, to love
Yes.
themselves again?
Okay, I have a few things to say. First, you are stronger than you know. You are stronger than you know. When in your situation, and I was in it, so I know what it's like to feel like, gosh, I always feel like I'm so stupid. I can't get it right. I'm constantly upsetting him or whatever it is. And you begin to think less of yourself, but you are beautiful. You are a queen. You are a queen. And I always tell people there's a quote out there. She remembered who she was and the game changed. She remembered who she was and the game changed. So you define you. Another one, you define you, no one else. You define you. You are a survivor, not a victim. You are a survivor. When I think about, oh my gosh, there's so many things I can share with y'all because I've seen so much and I've been through so much. And when I think about how I got to where I am, I had a very special counselor who said a few things to me. And one of the things she said to me, she said, Angelique, when you come in here, you're saying certain things that I know are not true. She said, from now on, I want you to put your thoughts on trial. Put your thoughts on trial. So when you get to a point where you're telling yourself something and you're speaking things that are not life, when you're speaking death to yourself, put that thought on trial. Is that really who I am? Is that really what happened? Is that really what I need to do? And you got to do the judge jury thing. Okay, you know what? That's really not the truth. I really am awesome. I really am beautiful. I really am smart, no matter what he said. Put your thoughts on trial. Look yourself in the mirror. Thank you, Patricia. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. I am wonderfully made, beautifully and wonderfully made. So, yes, that's what I would say. I mean, you've got to find help because the picture that he's painted for you, you are looking through his or her eyes, whoever the abuser is. You are now looking and seeing the world through their eyes. Everything you see is incorrect. It is a distorted picture of who you actually are. You have got to get to the right person who can help you reclaim who you are, get back to who you are so that you can properly see yourself. You need someone else to help you do that.
And finally, I want to touch on the abusers. They're sitting there and they feel guilty. I don't know if they feel guilty. I don't know if there's anything like guilt in their characteristic.
Not if they're a narcissist, they are not guilty
But
about a
they're
thing.
watching the program. Speak to them a bit.
Okay, so I have obviously very strong feelings because to me, again, abusers are not angry about anything. And I'm speaking to you. You're not angry. I don't know if any of you are listening, but I need you to know that there's people like me who are out here and we are out here spreading a very specific message. We are cracking the code. That cycle of love, hope, and fear, that power and control wheel, those things that you use to manipulate, we are out here bringing awareness, breaking down facades, and building conquerors. Bringing awareness, breaking down facades, and building conquerors. I want you to know that we are frustrated by these behaviors. They are tearing apart whole lives, families, communities, and countries. Abuse is never okay, ever. And so it is my prayer, if you are someone who is abusive, it is my prayer and also my duty to be on here and to say things such as, you got to get yourself some help. I believe every person can be helped, but it has to come from way deep down in your gut that you want to do better and you recognize that this is just wrong. Some things are just wrong. Abuse is just wrong. And so if you are currently abusing someone for whatever gain there is at the other end, my ask, my command is that you release them and release their spirit to live free. Release their spirit to live free. Because what you are doing is creating a slave. And that's never okay. So I pray for you and that you will, in fact, go and get yourself the help you need, because you can be so much more powerful if you join this fight to stop abuse. Please do that.
So very true. So very profound. And also want to add that abusers that are watching this program right now, think about this, right? You have a mother, you have a sister, you have a female in your family. How would you feel that someone else just slapped your mother?
Mm.
Think about it for a quick second right there. It brings it home. Someone just slapped your mother, bit slap your sister, pound on your knees, kick them, thump on them. Yeah, I'm talking about the same thing that you do. How would you feel, right? The cycle have to change, and it's very serious. It's very serious. Now, for men that are getting abused, again, this is not only one side. Men
Yes.
get abused as well. Probably not in a high percentage as women. Men also get abused. So for the women, we want to relay the same energy to
Yes.
you as well. Get assistance. Get help. Get counseling. Try to figure out what is bothering you, what continues to bother you, so that you have to keep a hold on this person or continue to beat on this person. It may start with you as well. You also need to look into the mirror and ask yourself, what is wrong with me?
Mm,
Both sexes need to
I
address.
agree. I agree.
But listen, Angelique, it was a pleasure having you on. It was a pleasure having you on. I'm sure there are a lot of people who wants to reach out to you, join your group, watch your show, be a
Yep.
part of what you're doing. So share some information on how could people get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So the organization I run is called Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, short name Ladder Masters. And so if you went to Facebook and pulled up Ladder Masters, or even look for me, Angelique, I'm on there as Angelique Dees Pierce, but www.laddermastersgroup.com. If you want to reach out to me, I have a toll-free number. It is easy to remember. Ready? 855 We Survive. 855 We Survive. That's 855-937-8784. I would love to hear from you guys. So I do have a show weekly. It is a podcast called Silent No More. Do you hear me? I am silent no more. I got stuff to say and I'm going to keep saying it. So it's weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. If you want to cruise by my YouTube channel or stop by the Facebook page, all of it is Ladder Masters Group. You can find it on there. But yes, give me a call, 855 We Survive.
Absolutely. Great stuff. We're gonna have you back on. I think that we'll have some kind of thing going here where we could do more of this, because again, it's about being proactive,
Yes.
not reactive.
Yes.
I don't want to have to bring another news coverage of someone being killed by the hands of the lover.
Mm,
It's not what I enjoy doing. I much prefer having a talk like this,
yes.
where we could prevent some situations from happening. So thank you, Angelique.
Look, I'll
Appreciate
say one last thing to you guys. I chose me. I chose me. You have to choose you. Say to yourself, I choose me. I choose happiness. That's where you have to be, to stay out of it or to get out if you are in it. And that's my word. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Angelique, for joining us here, and for everyone who watched and shared and loved. We appreciate you oh so much. Again, guys, let me see if I can open up the phone lines really quick. If anyone wants to call and offer any contribution to the program, I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to do that. 718-701-5720 is my number, and just let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I'm gonna do a program. It's gonna be an awkward program, right? But I'm gonna still propose to my producers if we can make this happen. For men that are abusers, for men who are abusers, right? I wanna talk with you. I wanna bring you guys on. I wanna invite you on to talk with you. I wanna hear what and why, because everyone have a story to tell, right? So for the men who are abusers themselves, a lot of you guys are probably watching. Um, I wanna hear your story. Let's talk. Let's talk and see, because the only how we could really get into your head is if we get into your head. We gotta hear you, right? So I want to hear you. So let's set this up. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation and see how we could change the narrative a little bit more. Someone say, "Oh, you crazy? You want to talk to them abusers? Leave them alone. They should go. Whatever." Nah, it's important. Let's have this conversation with some abusers. We're gonna try to schedule that coming up on the next couple of weeks or so. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, guys. So, for the folks that's watching us on YouTube, we want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you. We appreciate everyone. Don't forget also that we are moving a lot of our broadcasts over to
You gotta be fair.
our YouTube platform. So we want you guys to join us over on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Just I think the link of my producers, my moderator is going to put the link there for our YouTube channel. Go over there and subscribe to us on YouTube right there. And yeah, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Also, our 24-hour broadcast channel, our 24-hour broadcast platform is riderslive.com. There's always something to watch over there, guys. There's always something to watch over on riderslive.com. So check us out right now at riderslive.com. 24 hours of programming right there. Don't forget also we have our support group. So if you need any support, assistance, you join our support group and we'll try to get someone to help you out. Or you could also call our number 718-701-5720. There's always someone there to help. And literally, there's always someone there to help. We get calls all hours of the night, and it's like we don't sleep. We actually do, but it's like we don't, right? But we're always there. So if you need assistance at any time, you could definitely reach out to us and we'll get you in touch with someone who could counsel you through this process. Very, very, very difficult process in life. All right. So this is the website, guys. Again, it's riderslive.com, riderslive.com. That's the link. That's the website. And also, guys, if you love this program and you want to see this program continue to grow, we want you guys to support us in whatever way. Become a supporter of the Ride Along Live. Become a supporter. You can make a donation, a contribution towards the program at any time. The link is also pasted at the bottom. If you have a story to tell, remember, Ride Along Live, where everyone have a story to tell. We want to get you on. So come on, inbox us. I want to hear your story. All right. What else? We have some community stuff happening, guys, over like in the next couple of weeks. We're going to tell you guys about it. But keep it locked here to Ride Along Live, where everyone have a story to tell. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Bye-bye. Good night.
Welcome to TD Bank, where you'll find the personalized attention you deserve and the legendary experience you expect. Let's do business. If you are a medical or dental practitioner, contact me to hear about our tailored lending solutions for residential mortgages, equipment purchases, practice-related commercial mortgages and refinance. Visit me at 500 Baychester Avenue to hear more about our full range of personal and small business banking solutions. See you soon.
Feeling hungry, grab a snack. Caribbean food delight. Jamaican patties, light and flaky. Caribbean food delight. Taste the difference. Caribbean food delight. Grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Quick and easy, grab a patty, take a bite. Caribbean food delight. Oh yeah.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.